Hi there and welcome to the USB Extender Championship. ExtremeUSB has had unrivaled dominance in global USB extension technology for decades, and so it's exciting to see the rise of HDBaseT technology over recent years. Today we're going to be witnessing the clash of technology as HDBaseT takes on ExtremeUSB in this head-to-head battle. Joining me today to offer his insight into the world of USB transmission is Chris Hobbs, Senior Product Manager from Midwich. How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Thanks for having me here today as well. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. So today we've set up a series of tests to compare two technologies in our USB arena. First up, tech time. Using a Dell Inspiron AMD laptop as the host PC, we'll attempt to receive the camera feed from the two USB extenders. The laptop is connected to the host side of each extender, which in turn connects to their device units over 100 meters of unshielded twisted pair Cat 6A cable. With the same model camera connected into the remote USB hubs, with their included cables capturing penalty kicks taken by players representing each brand. In regards to the cameras, we've selected three popular USB conference cameras from world-leading suppliers. So, it's time. Let's check in with our man on the ground. Mark, how are things going over there at the arena?
Yes, thank you guys. Yes, we're here at the USB Sports Arena to determine the new USB technology champion, and that's between ExtremeUSB and HDBaseT. We're going to be testing the Icon Raven 3204C Pro representing ExtremeUSB and the Aver Pro Edge representing HDBaseT. So we've got both connections over 100 meters with a camera at the other end, and I can just see our guys are just tidying up now, all ready to get going. So we'll see you for test number one.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so Chris, both device manufacturers representing each technology state within their datasheet that they can transmit without issue over 100 meters using Cat 6 cable. So with that in mind, what do you expect to see from the results?
Well, to be fair, if the data sheet say they can work over 100 meters, I expect it to work over 100 meters. It's a bit like buying a car, really. If the car says it can hit 120 miles an hour, you take it around the track, you'd like to think it can hit 120 miles, and if it only hits 90, you'll be a little bit disappointed, won't you, really?
Yeah, very true, very true. Okay, well, let's head back over to the USB arena and get the first test underway.
Extenders ready.
Wow, okay, so one test down and HDBaseT failed to connect over 100 meters with the Aver camera. Chris, surprised?
Yeah, I am surprised that HDBaseT didn't work today over 100 meters, purely for the fact that I have heard it work at over 100 meters for 200 brands in the past. The key thing is it shows that ExtremeUSB has gone through all these trials and testing applications. So they've gone through any challenges they've had previously, so they've got it right now.
Well, it may have been a one-off for HDBaseT. Mark, what's the second test that we've got?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we're just getting set up for the second test now. This time testing the device's abilities with a Lumens VCB30U USB camera. That's over the same distance. The question is whether HDBaseT can come back and get on the scoreboard with this one. So I think we're just about to get going here, and we'll head over to the test area and see you in a moment.
Now, Mark did mention to me beforehand that with the Lumens camera, we can adjust between bulk and isochronous, and in the interest of fairness, he set the cameras to bulk. Chris, do you think this is going to have an effect?
Realistically, no. Bulk is more robust and causes less bandwidth issues. But if the data sheet says, again, it's going to work over 100 meters, I'd expect it to work over 100 meters.
Yeah.
The interesting factor would be to see whether, with the camera being a higher spec, will both extenders have any issues or challenges with this setup?
Absolutely. Well, let's see what happens and head over to the second test.
Extenders ready.
Excellent. So both extenders handled the Lumens camera fine without any issue, which means HDBaseT is on the scoreboard. Do you find it interesting that the small conference room camera in the Aver failed to work with HDBaseT, but the medium to large camera worked without issue?
I suppose working with a camera like Lumens, but not with Aver, could be a challenge in some respects. But it does come down to the detail of the application that's being used. Some compatibility issues will be with certain devices compared to other devices. So it's a bit like potluck, I suppose, at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, the score is now 2-1 to ExtremeUSB as we head into our final test. Mark, over to you.
Yes, yep, okay, we're here for the final test. Here to put these two devices now with a Poly Studio USB camera. So we've kept the same setup and the same distance with the same extenders, looking to see whether HDBaseT can level up the scores on this final test.
Okay, so we're going to run the test again, as Mark said, but with the Poly Studio camera. Now, the Poly Studio is a camera used in larger video conference rooms, and with a 2-1 lead for ExtremeUSB, it's simply a question of whether HDBaseT can close the gap. If they can transmit over 100 meters, they're in. Let's see how it goes.
Extenders ready.
Wow, so I guess that decides it. Over the course of 3 tests, ExtremeUSB comes out on top when transmitting over 100 meters without any failures. Okay, so we've seen all 3 tests and have the results over 100 meters. What do you make of the difference between HDBaseT and ExtremeUSB?
I think it shows with any new product, ideally you'd always test the setup and application before installing. For example, I'm aware of another brand of a HDBaseT extender working over 100 meters with a Poly E70 camera.
Right.
So it proves that HDBaseT can work at 100 meters, but it comes down to the compatibility and application in the environment it's being used. So today it hasn't worked, another day it may work. This is the advantage of ExtremeUSB, where they've tried and tested the solutions over the years, and that's why it's come out obviously on top today.
Yeah, so you think that the experience that ExtremeUSB has in the industry has played a part in this?
I believe it's played a massive part in that.
Okay, so back to the data sheets. ExtremeUSB also claims it can work up to 200 meters when using a 10 gig LAN switch in the middle. So I think, in the spirit of fairness, we should see whether this claim can be met. Mark, can we arrange a bonus test to see whether this is true?
Yeah, no, hi, yeah, sure, we can set that up. Come back to us in a bit and we should have that all ready for you.
Amazing. Okay, Chris, is this a useful feature to have? I mean, 200 meters is a long distance. I guess it could be used in specific office buildings, education situations, some other scenarios. But do you think this additional capability is something that helps ExtremeUSB stand apart from HDBaseT?
Yeah, I believe it does. If you think about it, 100 meters would probably cover 95% of your applications. But it's nice to know you can go double that distance. So for example, if you're in an education sports hall and you need to go that extra distance, or if you're in a block of offices, to know you can double that distance is a big difference at the end of the day. So that extra 5% of applications might make all the difference in certain applications.
Amazing. Well, let's see if they can do it. We're going to head back over to Mark and see what he's got set up ready for us. Mark.
Yes, we're all ready to go and take that shot. It's a 200 meters cable now. So we've got the Lumens VC B30U for this test to see how ExtremeUSB performs over LAN. So from the remote Rex, we've got 100 meters Cat6A cable laid out again, and that's connecting to a 10 gigabit switch, and then another 100 meters back round and up to the PC. So just take a couple of minutes to set that shot up and go, and when the guys are ready, come back to us.
Okay, so as Mark explained, they've set up a bonus test for the ExtremeUSB extender only. Tech time. The local extender is connected directly into the same AMD laptop with a 100 meter cable going from the local device to a 10 gigabit switch. From there, we've got another 100 meters running up to the camera, and in this instance, they're using the Lumens camera again. So let's head over and see whether ExtremeUSB can meet the claims they have on their datasheet and transmit successfully over 200 meters.
Meter extender ready.
Wow, okay, so ExtremeUSB have knocked it out of the park, passing all 3 main tests and an additional test of 200 meters. That puts the score at full time, it's 4-1. Chris, are you surprised HDBaseT struggled with reliability and performance over 100 meters with 3 of the most popular USB cameras on the market?
I am surprised there were some challenges today, especially as I'm aware of HDBaseT working with 2 of those cameras in the past. It just goes to prove that with any new product, you need to test it in that application environment first. That's the difference with ExtremeUSB. They've gone through this tried and tested process, so 99% of the time you know it's tried and tested, it will work again and again in that application.
So with the performance today from HDBaseT, could it be considered a problem that it struggled?
It's important to consider the working scenario for the devices and the applications that it's being used. I'm sure, for example, if there's any customers out there that would like to try a different type of camera or a different type of product with HDBaseT or ExtremeUSB, come down to Innovation House at Bracknell for Midwich, and we'll be glad to test it out and try some more applications and see how it all works out and see if the score's any different or if it's another win for ExtremeUSB.
Amazing. The invite's there to get hands-on with the product. So, it's been a good day for ExtremeUSB as they are crowned the new USB extender champion. Of course, no doubt we'll all continue to follow the 2 challenges in the market as ExtremeUSB develop and bring out new technology and HDBaseT attempt to close the gap. I'm sure there's plenty more to come. Now, all the details regarding today's tests and the full specifications of all the devices we used, including the laptop and the cameras, can be found on USB-TEC.com. That's USB-TEC.com. But from myself, Chris and Mark, I want to thank you for joining us today and look forward to seeing you soon.